What's up, guys? Thanks for stopping by. I hope you're doing good. Tonight, we're just doing a little impromptu game dev stream. I do work on my game most nights. For those of you that don't know, obviously, I'm doing full time content on my main channels, but I work on the game 2 full days a week and then every evening um, where I don't work on it for the full day. So yeah, I said I'd start doing some random little streams. So far, I've only done some like longer streams when um, it's been part of my sort of full day's work. But yeah, tonight we're just gonna stream a little nighttime sesh before I go to bed. What's up, Terrier? Thanks for stopping by the stream. I hope you're doing good, dude. So yeah, I don't know if this is a good idea, but here we are. I thought it could be interesting. What's up, Scene Thorn? Thanks for stopping by the stream. I hope you're doing good. So, thank you, first of all. It's a good idea. Now you know. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. So this is we're getting like seriously behind the scenes content with my life on game dev, I suppose, with these streams, which I think is cool because I don't always have like tons of time to work on stuff. Sometimes it's like a session like this where it's like before I go to bed, let's just see what we can do. So, what we're going to do, it says in the title, we're going to add Fog of War to the world map. So, I do actually have is my cell reversed? I reverse it just so I'm actually facing the right direction in the top left. um so I decided that for this stream I was going to um basically add a feature to the game from start to finish, not having done any other work on this feature before. Or to, I'm trying to think, like, I don't even think I've ever added, I don't think I've ever made a game with Fog of War before either. So just to add something totally new from start to finish in one session, just so you guys get to see kind of like the whole process. So I think that's kind of a cool idea. So what we're adding Fog of War. What that means, if you don't know, we'll get onto in a minute. But we need to start the process. So, first thing, this is me. This is behind the scenes. This is my life. When I'm not making videos, I'm playing Valheim. Need the right music. I've been into these like gigantic loops that are almost certainly I generated, which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of. But you know what it is good for? Long loops of the same vibe to just keep you sort of focused. Um, so this is going to be my background sound today. Nice medieval vibe, sort of on theme, sort of the game's sort of fantasy-esque. Not necessarily medieval, but got some crackling fires there. Next, got a sugar-free soda. I'm parched, so I need some good drinks. Got sugar-free 7-Up. I'm so thirsty. And like half the time I change my color scheme, my development environment and everything. I understand the concept of Fog of War, but I first heard the term from Sudoku streamers. That's funny. Okay, so I'm not so sure how long we're gonna stick with this overlay, but I put a little bit of effort into creating this to share with you guys some specific things we get into in a minute, because there's no reason. My camera's not here. No reason why we can't technically just full screen sometimes. I don't know if might not have all my alerts and stuff. Let's make sure the stream's working on YouTube as well. It is. So that's good. Hello, Twitch and YouTube. All right, so the stream's working. All right. So you guys can see in the overlay, I've done this for a specific thing, just for people that want to be kind of like nerdy and sort of understand want to understand like my workflow and stuff. Well, let's see where he's stopping by. Oh, this is great having lots of regular faces in the chat for our dev streams. Still, this is only like our 3rd stream ever doing this. All right, so in the bottom left of the screen, you've got my current to-dos. This is in a GitHub project, just with these 2 columns, to do and in progress. And then in the bottom right, you can see new tasks. So whenever I have a new thing to add to the list, it goes in that list before it gets categorized. And then in the top right, you can see there's a panel for documentation. So what you're seeing there is the bottom 2 panels, and the bottom left and bottom right are a slice of a vertical monitor on my right. Usually what you see in the top right would be full screen on a monitor on the left, but because we're streaming and stuff, it's just like you see it. It's like a column in the middle. And that's where I'll have like the GameMaker documentation or Rust documentation up on the screen, because those are the 2 programming languages I'm dealing with so far in this project. So I already added the other night when I realized. So for this project, the reason why Fog of War hasn't yet been implemented is because I wasn't sure if it was the right move from a design standpoint. And I decided that it was, because the title is saying live Valheim gameplay speedruns. Oh, it is? That's weird. Restream recently had an update, which is what I use to stream on multiple platforms. Thank you for letting me know about that. Let me just fix that real quick. So Restream does this thing where at certain points it'll like rename. Does everything look right then on YouTube? Let me refresh the stream on YouTube, make sure it's called the right thing. It seems fine on YouTube, right? Yeah. Just Restream being shit. I'm on the wrong Twitch channel. Videos. I'm on the wrong Twitch channel. I hear myself. Seems good to YouTube. Yeah, it's definitely Restream then. What we'll do is we'll just take the title from the last stream. Copy that. Back to the channel. Super weird, but yeah, it's just a shitty Restream update. And what is it? Add in Fog of War to the world map. Adding Fog of War to world map. All right. I'm updating the Twitch title. Thank you. Just let me know if you give it a refresh. Let me know if the Twitch title's right. Okay. Yeah, so I wasn't sure if Fog of War was going to be the right design idea, because I wasn't sure if it was actually going to be... Seems good now? Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure if it was going to be better to be able to see everything on the world map from the get-go or not. And I was listening to a Tim Kaine video. Tim Kaine, the original designer of Fallout, the original Fallout, and Outer Wilds. He has a YouTube channel where he just talks about game development and stuff. And in one of his videos, I watch him quite a lot because he has some pretty good advice. He mentioned something just about like, it was a video he made recently about hand-holding players and at what point it's too much, because his point was like, people complain about hand-holding, but even a crosshair could be hand-holding, but everybody wants a crosshair most of the time. And so he was basically saying that sometimes more information is less fun. And he briefly just, he didn't talk about Fog of War or anything. He just briefly mentioned, you got to ask yourself if it's more fun to have a map or not. You know what I mean? To allow the players to just explore and get lost themselves. And it just got me thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm on the fence about this Fog of War thing. I think that sold me on it. So I'm adding Fog of War. So that's why we're adding Fog of War. So first of all, I have a tag in GitHub. Called Focus, which is like for whatever set of tasks I'm currently working on. We're just gonna chuck that in progress right away and add it as a code milestone. All right. So add Fog of War, the world map. So this is like a GitHub issue, but the GitHub issue is linked to GitHub project. So once we tick it off the to-do list, we can resolve the issue, or when we resolve the issue, it'll tick it off the to-do list. Okay. Where to start? I think we'll start with, I think I'll show you guys for now. Where we're currently at. Oh, in fact, before I do that, yeah. This is for the overworld. Good question there, Zinthorn. Yeah, we had some commits to pull down that I didn't do before. All right, so yeah, so just bear in mind, this is just a test screen, so this is nothing. I was just testing something out here, so this is just a place. This doesn't mean anything. So what you're about to see, everything that I've started with the world map. So it's actually not where the core gameplay is actually happening that I'm working on. The reason for that is because, you know, I've been making games for like a decade now. I've done a lot of business as usual type gameplay mechanics that you expect to see in games. So the generation of a gigantic procedurally generated world map is something new to me. I've been doing procedural generation since before I even got into game development, but you know, on this scale and in this way, so that's the tricky bit. So That's why I've started with that. So everything that we're working on at the minute is there's just the map. But the map is going to be an important part of the game because it's not just like the map is an important part of Valheim, right? For example, you're always looking at it, but it's just a map in Valheim. The world map in our game, you will choose basically where to send a villager via the world map, and you'll look at the world map and get data from it, like the type of biome they're going to be traveling through and the type of point of interest they're traveling to. And based on that information, you'll decide what equipment to give the villager before they leave the village, right? And then you'll send them to a location, to a point of interest on the world map. And once they reach the point of interest, it'll sort of like enter it like a level, and then it'll go into the actual kind of like gameplay bit. You have the 1000 by 1000 map, I remember. 1 million squares. Yep. So let's press space and see if something explodes. Oh, I've just remembered something actually that we need to do that I never added to my to-do list. So we'll look at the world map right now. So I've done a lot of work on the procedural generation, as you guys probably will be able to tell. I've never done anything like this before, but it's basically using Perlin noise, just generating data in waves, basically, to generate level data. And that's all done in Rust, which is a programming, newish programming language, let's say. A sort of, we don't have to get super technical, do we? But it's basically like C++, but supposedly memory safe. And there's a whole debate on that, so let's not get into that. So anyway, you can see that we've got blue for ocean. None of these biomes or points of interest necessarily mean anything yet, because they don't do anything yet, but they were just sort of laying out how they could possibly all be generated. And this will probably be tweaked a million times and improved over time, but we want to kind of get the game in a working state sooner rather than later, where you can experience the whole gameplay loop. So to a certain level, this is sort of like a first pass on everything. Probably more than one pass, but you know what I'm talking about. One of the things I'm really proud of that I figured out recently is adding beaches. So you can see we've just got like natural sand formations around coasts. And this is, 1 million by 1 million tiles. And a point of interest can potentially just be a single tile. So there's a lot of shit going on. If we zoom in a bit, I've also got like, these are actual points of interest that we can travel to. So this is like forest, mountain range. There's like ponds and lakes and stuff, like these little blue things. These are rocks and stuff, are supposed to be ruins. But this isn't everything new. So we need to compile a new Rust program. What is it called? I guess let's clean the cache for now. And let's run it. Just to make sure it doesn't error. Okay, yeah, it runs fine. So Let's compile a new version. So yeah, just to explain what I just did. I'm actually making the system that generates the level data basically completely separately from the rest of the game. It's made in basically isolation. And it's just Rust. It's a Rust cargo that can be compiled into a Rust program, which means it's just its own executable that lives inside the game directory. And when the game it launches that executable on the command line, and it just runs like instantaneously like that and generates a text file with all the data in it that is what we're looking at right here. In fact, I can show you. It looks something like this. This might be our current world I'm looking at. I can't quite tell based on this. In fact, I probably... Yeah, it is. It's got a Z in it. So it's like literally just a text file. You can edit it in Notepad. So if you wanted to make your own world, you actually could. Just in Notepad. So our Rust program creates this. Basically. So yeah, I am sort of partially... There's many reasons to use a system like this, but part of it is going to be a feature where it's just allowing people to make their own worlds. Okay, so what that new code that we just compiled has added is these purple bits. Now, in the game, spoiler alert, there's going to be corruption zones. And that's what these little purple tiles are. Basically, the idea of the game, you're building your little village, you're growing your little civilization, attracting new villagers. But sort of the story, the premise of the game is that the world has been corrupted, and that corruption is spreading from these parts, these corruption zones, these parts of the world that are heavily corrupted. And by corrupted, it's sort of a metaphor almost. It's similar, it's a sort of a fantasy version of pollution, basically. It's not possible to farm the land there and live off the land there. And so special corruption zones are places that are like really high. Like this is supposed to represent like a dead portion of land where the corruption has ruined it, for example. There's black stuff at the minute in my head, just with the testing. It would be very hard to stream game dev without spoilers. Yeah, that's why I sort of laughed. Oh, I can zoom in. I don't need to be so zoomed out when we're doing. Yeah, so like these black tiles, that's sort of like what I was thinking that would be for now. And so the idea is, let's find a corruption zone, that these corruption zones, these purple tile here, would be like highly concentrated place of corruption where basically the way to beat the game, because obviously it'll be a game you can play forever, sort of like Stardew and stuff like that, is going to be you clear, quote unquote, clear a certain amount of corruption zones, and that rejuvenates the land and saves the world of Earth and Heart. And this is where the name comes into play. So basically corruption zones need to be rare. Right now, the way I'm doing it is randomly placing 100 tiles, scattering them across the land. Well, I don't know if that's going to stay the way we're doing it. But But that's what that is anyway. So this is a real, like, this is like epic. If you find one of these, that's a big deal. And you need to go there. When you go there, the idea is going to be that essentially there's going to be a lot of tools required to almost solve almost like light puzzle solving to get through more of like a traditional top-down Zelda style level. And that will clear a path in order to access sort of the farmland of the corruption zone. And once you've done that, the idea is you'll have to migrate your farm animals to that patch of land and turn that land into sustainable land by farming on it. And once you've successfully managed that, it'll basically become like a new outpost, so almost like a second, third, or fourth village. That's the idea. Massive spoilers, but there we go. So yeah, that's what's been added with that. Also, if I press space, I had to implement a way to find this quickly because it's too hard. At least for now, this is the village. It just places a weird little shitty little house tile right in the center. I haven't yet decided how I'm going to handle the situation where it's almost always not on land. Let's actually reset and see where it takes us. Yeah. Oh, that's actually fine. I was like, part of me feels like could be kind of cool to have an ocean start, because if you start with a small amount of wood, it could just be a thing that you just have to build a boat right out the gate. I don't know though, it's probably going to create too many problems. You're going to literally be able to soft lock your world. Maybe you start with one boat. That could be another option. So I haven't yet decided, but obviously I could add some procedural level generation so that every village is on an island or something like that, or the village could be randomly placed. So yeah, but for now, like I said, everything's being like first pass right now. Just sort of implementing everything, get to experience the gameplay cycle of the gameplay loop, and then we'll see. Maybe you'll let it place the house, then just check to make sure at least one side is non-ocean. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the reason why it's currently placed in the middle is because initially I was kind of thinking that maybe the corruption zones would always be sort of north, south, east, and west. And then I began implementing that, and I realized, because of this new system that I've been using, this new library to place points of interest and generate the world, that they could actually be scattered quite well. And then I thought, like, maybe it's actually more interesting for the points of interest, because the thing is, if you always start, so the point is, if it was north, south, east, and west, it makes sense for the village to always be in the middle, because you're equidistant from everything and you want it to take a while to get there. I still might do that, but I've just right now decided to just place my corruption zones randomly instead of north, south, east, and west. So that's why the village is currently in the middle. If we're randomly scattering corruption zones, we could kind of put a village wherever we want. It could be random too. I don't know if that's more fun. I just can't decide yet. So this is what we got for now. I was thinking, well, the other thing is, starting the player in the middle makes it much less likely that the player will ever bump up to the edges of a world. Because remember, like a 1 million tile world is just like what we're starting out with. We may be able to generate even larger worlds. And I would like the idea of the world to be so big it to feel like you kind of like never reach the end. Like Minecraft. So being in the middle just makes sense for that. So yeah, I can't decide, basically. So it's in the middle for now. I've just noticed we actually do also have a task. To make fog of war reveal as you explore, which sort of is what a fog of war is, but I guess I wanted to break my tasks down to more digestible bits. Could have the best of both worlds. Makes the logic where the house is as complex as you want for good placement, and just shift the bitmap till it's in the center again. I'm not sure I know what you mean, but that only works to top one size wrap. I'm not sure if they do. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, they don't. Although maybe they could. I don't know. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's figure that out another time. Right. I think actually this is one of the rare scenarios where it makes sense to start actually in the Game Maker IDE for once, which I generally avoid opening. Game Maker is amazing. The bugginess and the jankiness of the UI of the IDE, I kind of hate. It keeps getting better, but it's always been garbage. Well, actually, in a lot of ways, I feel like before Game Maker Studio existed, it was better. So this is our world, which you can't even see. It's honestly so big that we can't even see it. In fact, if I create a grid, like 128 by 128, maybe then you'll be able to see it. Nope. Nope. Okay, so down the left here are layers. So the way I'm thinking about doing this, which is the best way I can think of right now, so we have a tile set layer that's just above the world tile layer. I'm going to call this Fog of War. And we probably create new sprite. And we call that SP Fog of War. We don't need to open a sprite or anything for this one because it's so basic, it's really not going to matter. Let's just resize it. And we'll just do an 8x8. Game Boy style. And we'll just double check that's actually black. Yeah. Maybe actually full black's not a good idea. But let's just do it like a notch or two. Let's go with one notch above full black for now. We successfully created a black tile, chat. We're game developers now. Alright, now we create a tile set asset. Fog of War. With a TI for tile set. Prefix, select the sprite. Sprites. SP Fog of War. Boom. I do have a texture group for tile sets here, just in case. I think that's fine, yeah. Sometimes a warning pops up. I think it's when you do this. No, it's not going to do it. I think if you disable the source sprite export, it removes collisions, but we want collisions. Okay, so now let me think, because I love it when I can do like a whole day's work without ever opening the IDE. Thank you, New Jack, for the raiding party of 5. Welcome, everybody. Hope you had a good stream, mate. So let me think about this. No, we've got more work to do in the IDE. We can't close it yet. It's just basically a race to close it. Jackie Raid, I like that. How's it going, bud? Hope you had a good stream. Oh, I just remembered something. Game Maker is actually kind of funny with tile sets. The first tile, it just assumes is blank. It essentially uses the first tile as like an eraser. Doing good, thanks, mate. So yeah, I usually paint on like an X or something. So I remember. Yeah, there we go. So now hang on, we need to also configure the tile set, be an 8x8. Okay, cool. This is legitimately so big, it's an absolute pain in the arse. Let me yeah, there we go. Let's add a background temporarily. So can't remember if there's like a way to actually do a fill of tile placement in the IDE. We're just gonna totally fill it with black. I feel like part of me just feels we should just do this with code. But that would be pointless. Well, it would save me having to do this. Let me actually just search for it real quick. Is this a thing? I've never had to paint a room, such a big room with one tile before. I bet it's not a thing. No. Whatever. We could. Yeah, do a different brush or create a larger tile or something like that, but it's not worth it. I'm gonna be here a while doing this shit, bro. Oh, it's too much to look at. We can't do this. We need a fill tool. Wait, hang on. Oh, okay. It still paints one tile though, right? Oh, okay. That's fine. I've literally never had to paint such a big room with a single tile ever. Kind of a funny situation. Like I said, implementing a new feature for the game in one sitting. Even being something we've never done before. Almost looks like some weird creature, doesn't it? Less so now. Okay. Are we ready? Nothing happened. I am using WSL, yeah. I typically work on Mac, but I've been working on Windows a lot more. So I've been using it. Why can't... Oh, I know why we can't see it. Yeah, I'm not really so much of an expert or anything. But it's been great to allow me to, we're actually just launching it right now, to, you know, just do its job, allow me to do what I'm trying to do. Where does this take place in the code? World gen? Here we go. You see this line here? Say global large POI layer. Layer create -8. That's the depth of the layer. Which is way above anything in the layer that we have in the IDE. So wait. Why is it? Oh, I locked it. Shit. It's locked again, that's why. Let's do it. There we go. Fog of War done, chat. Can't think of anything else we need to add. I think we're just done. This is the game now. This is the world map. Done. Easy. Do I technically check off my current task? Considering I broke it down into add Fog of War to world map and make Fog of War reveal as you explore for some weird reason. I'm going to make the next thing 2 separate things. Resolves. What is it? Well, it's actually 1, 2, 3. Add Fog of War to world map. You should see it disappear from. Oh, it looks weird because this is not Windows, not right. There we go. Should see it disappear from the to-do list. Okay. Make Fog of War reveal as you explore. So we have to spend some time in the IDE. So maybe you want other things to be able to reveal it later as well. It'll probably use the same mechanic if that's the case. You don't want to. I'm trying to think of the right terminology to explain this thought process. This sort of idea of like, do it this way because maybe you want this. But basically you want to kind of avoid that. You can end up having so many layers of abstraction. And then it's like, which makes it really hard sometimes and retracing old code years later, and then you don't remember why it was like that because you never ended up actually doing the hypothetical. But regardless, it'll probably work the same way. So let's create an object. And let's call it world map position. And let's create a sprite. And let's call it SP world map position. And we'll just do this shit again. Resize all frames. Don't know why it always goes over there. It's annoying. And we'll just do an 8x8 again. Apply. For now, I think I'm basically just gonna draw like a little red man. Kind of. It's more of just like an icon, right, at the minute. How? What am I drawing here? Oh, okay, it's sort of... It doesn't matter at this moment in time. Really what it looks like. But maybe we can have it sort of... make sense. Yeah, there we go. That's a dude, isn't it? Is that even going to stand out enough? I guess we'll find out. No, yeah, we'll keep it like that for now. So then we'll just go to this object. It doesn't matter, we're not working on art right now. World map position, sprite, add the little man. Okay, so this is a sprite, so we don't need to worry about any of the weirdness of tile sets. So... First of all, let me just double check. Like, I'm pretty... If I... just, hide this fog of war layer, we should be able to see fine. Yeah, we can. So, let me... been a long time since I've done instance create. Is it still the same as it used to be? I know they've changed it. Oh yeah, this is it. This is a new thing, right? We actually want an object layer for our player to live on that's above the fog of war layer. I think I'm just going to call it player layer. Kind of a funny name. So what we first should do is um I'm just thinking. I'm gonna create a team session now. We're probably gonna get into coding a bit more. Not this actually. Probably in here somewhere. Oh, wait. The world at the minute is just in the middle. We could just literally just place our little dude in the middle. But that's a bit lazy, innit? Because we might move it. So I think it probably makes sense. This is a placement of our village. Right here. Yeah, okay. So I think if we do instance create layer we'll come back to this X and Y value. Layer ID. I don't even remember all this shit. Layer object. Okay, that's it. That's all we need anyway. Obviously, that's not set up yet though. So I can't remember if we can get the layer from Vim. So Seawage was asking about WSL before. See these weird graphical glitches in the file tree? Like if I sort of zoom in and zoom out, they go away. Sometimes if I actually just shut down WSL, not just exit it, but actually do the shutdown command, they go away. That's like the only thing that sometimes happens that's annoying as shit. I'm thinking we're gonna probably still need to see the IDE for a bit. Let me open it over here instead, or we can kind of leave it open then. It's not in the way in the tile manager. The layer is Fog of War. I think we've got to do it as a string, don't we, for this? OBJ will map POS. Okay, so the X and Y, we're probably going to have to do something like tile map get cell. Wait, how am I? What am I using for this over here? Oh, we feed in those as an argument into this function. That's not going to work. We need to do sort of the opposite. Get pixel at tile. Is that a thing? It'd be amazing if that is a thing. Tile map get at pixel. No, that's not it. What we want. Using this function, you can retrieve the Y position within the room of the tile map element. No, it's not good enough. Let's try putting in tile map get cell X. Oh wait, what we actually want is to get pixel. Nah. I think we can calculate this. We're gonna have to calculate this a different way then. So we just do a little math. What's up, Tiny Devil Games? It's going good, thanks, mate. So, equals I times 8, right? let's see where this puts us. Thinking about something. Is it or in? Hang on. Maybe it's not set up correctly, actually. Where's the sprite? Am I being dumb? Oh, I am being dumb. It's the wrong layer. How can we create such an awesome name for a layer? Like player layer. And then immediately forget it like 5 seconds later. There we go, bingo, perfect. All right. We have a shitty icon on our shitty village tile. We're doing it. We're developing. We're making games. Okay, so the next thing I was thinking is actually, let's take a look at a world real quick again. We need to decide what we want the radius of our sort of field of war discovery to actually be. It needs to at least be larger than 3x3, really. Probably should be a little bigger though. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Some kind of 7 by 7 circle is what I'm thinking. Let's do 8x7 real quick. That's 56. And we'll add another sprite. Edit sprite. Resize all frames. And we'll do 56. Let's do it with this. And it doesn't really matter. And let's put the grid on 8x8. for this is going to wind up being like invisible. So it doesn't really matter what the color of this is. Kind of wish I was an A sprite right now. Not gonna lie. But we don't really need to be. So we will kind of want our discovery to work in an 8x8 pattern now. I'm basically creating like a mask. You know? That's going to represent the tiles we remove. If that makes sense. And I think that's pretty good for that purpose, right? Okay, so rename Fog of War Reveal. That's gonna be the name of this sprite. Okay. Let's now create an object. OBJ Fog of War Reveal. We're going to use an object for this so that we can get a nice collision out of it. Well, you don't actually need the collision, but you can actually check if an object is touching a tile in a tile map, which is actually a really nice way of doing collisions. It's more efficient generally. And because we're working with so many layers of tiles, well, not so many, but so many tiles, it makes sense for us, right? So let's real quick just plop this down. Oof. That gives you a perspective on how large these worlds are. But yeah, that looks good. Okay, then. Delete. Then we'll probably just go into this. Fuck. This almost certainly doesn't need to be checked every frame or every tick. That's literally what we're doing, Tiny Devil Games. We've already set that up. Described what we're doing. What was I just thinking about though? I've been making games in Game Maker for a decade. I would never have a room full of a million objects. What was I just talking about though? What was the thinking? I don't remember. Oh yeah. I don't even think we have a step event running in this room though anyway. So we can just do this for now. Okay. Mm. I'm just thinking. Yeah. Sorry, a lot of the time I like to think ahead in my head as I'm doing something else. So I'm thinking about something completely different down the line right now. Um, um, guess I'll just put that on for now. So basically, what we're doing is spawning an object. Yeah, we need to center it on our player that is going to be invisible. That's going to be used for revealing the fog of war, and it's going to be useful for other things. It being separate. Yeah, I'm just thinking. Nice. It's not exactly centered because the player isn't centered because the tiles aren't centered, which is fine for now. We could Yeah, we could actually center the player one. But it's not actually the player, it's like the marker on the map, right? And then just offset it when we place it. Do, 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 do. There we go, look. Okay. Now let's turn those tiles back on. Very dark. These tile commands. Thanks for chilling with me anyway today, guys. Appreciate anyone thinking about the game dev streams. No, it's not my usual speedrun content or anything. It's a little change of pace. I'm actually using Teamux right now. I like it a lot. I started using it recently. But I still like, so because I'm kind of like new, like I only in the last several months, it's been a while now, I guess. It's been several months since I jumped on actually using Vim and, you know, working in a terminal all the time. I really like it. I find it helps me focus a lot. I always just stayed within IDEs before that, so it's pretty new to all this stuff. But I kind of like went all out and just like trying to learn some new things, and like Teamux is like one of them, and I like it a lot. But I still use a tiling window manager anyway, both on Mac and Windows. But on Mac, to be honest, is almost, I don't really need it. But on Windows, I feel like I kind of still do, because the thing is, this Vim session right now is inside a Teamwork session, right? But the thing is, the game is, I'm working natively in Windows in order for the game to actually run, because it is just a Windows game. So this terminal is just command prompt, which you can't have Tmux in. So doing this allows me to use the window manager to still, I can have like one thing start, this new terminal here could be the Tmux session. Also, like I'm also compiling like Rust programs, right? So I might want to go to like the Rust directory. I do this quite a lot. What is it? Rust. So here, this is like be working in the Rust directory if I want to do like a cargo run or build or something like that to sort of debug the Rust program. And then, this side is basically running the game and doing my Git stuff. And then, everything else I'm doing here. Now, when I work on Mac, it can all be in a Tmux session. I wonder if your game would run in Linux using Steam's Proton. Yeah, I don't know. The game, like, working with other, I've decided to just not bother with other platforms for a while, maybe forever, for this game, because like Windows is all I really care about. But just in the process of development, you kind of fuck around because I work on Mac anyway. And like the game, like when I'm running it on my Mac, it is a Mac version. I'm not emulating Windows or anything. But the funny thing is, I'm not making the Rust program automatically run on Mac, because I don't then want to have to do a separate Mac build, because the extension that I'm using seems to be shit inside of GameMaker to run command line stuff. So I'm just literally doing cargo run to run the Rust program. But I don't have to always run a Rust program, because obviously it just generates a world. But if I want to generate a new world on Mac, I'm actually running the Rust program manually on Mac right now. So it's kind of a bit of a shit show, but it kind of technically probably would half work on anything at this point. But yeah, I like Tmux. I've not used the other one that you mentioned though. How do you feel about it? There was actually a point where when the way I was working was like, particularly on Mac anyway, inside the Tmux session, it was so many split panes of all of like the different commands that I was running. And I still actually would potentially oh, it's a super old school equivalent. Got you. I would actually, depending on what I'm working on the game, I would still do that. So like, what is it? What's the it's something like, no? Oh, it's, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so there's like a split pane this way. My Tmux keybinds are a little different on Windows, so it's a little bit. Yeah, so like if I wanted to, like, for example, I have some scripts set up to here for managing like the color palettes of objects and stuff. So this is my color palette directory. I could kind of, this is a kind of thing. Wait, no, not split it that way. Don't split it that way. And then I use a plugin to run a local server that allows you to live edit GameMaker code without having to recompile. Most of the time it works. And so to like run that, I'd be working in this directory. So I'd have these open the whole time, right? And just be... You can see when you start to do this though, it's where WSL starts to really shit the bed with the graphical glitches. For me anyway. So this is the kind of scenario where I'm Tmuxing my brains out. If I'm doing these two things at once, if I'm regularly updating color palettes for artwork and working with a GM Live extension, because this will tell me the status of the server. But yeah, we're not doing that right now. I definitely was unnecessarily always having that stuff going at one point just because I was enjoying Tmux too much. All right. What was I wanting to do? I was wanting to check what the tile was at a certain position. Am I just going to have to go through all of the tile functions because I don't remember? So even though I've been working with GameMaker for like a long time, there's so much stuff in GameMaker that's like new to me still. It's still, you know, easy, but they've added so many functions since I was using it like daily for work. Tile map get X. Using this function, you can retrieve the Y position within the room of the tile map. Oh yeah, we've looked at that earlier. That's not what we want. Tile rotate, tile get index. Hang on. Tile map set pixel. Tile map get tile height. I'm not sure exactly. This function, you can retrieve tile data from a position within the room of the tile map element. I don't know which of these functions I want to use yet, so let's read a little bit. Might be this one though. You give the tile map element ID, which you get when you create the tile map element, or when you use the function tile map get ID, which we would have to do for this tile map. As well as the XY position in the room, you get the tile data, and the function will return tile data blob. Tile data is essentially a bit mask that contains the tile index, flip, rotate. Yeah. We don't need how tile maps work. Can be used in tile functions to change tile properties if you need to get the tile data from a specific cell. This isn't what I was thinking though. Like, this is good. This is probably the way to do it. But I swear there used to be a fucking awesome way of checking collisions with tiles. That's like old. But it seems cooler than this. Where you literally just, instead of doing like a real collision, you just check in the edge of the sprite to see if it overlaps with a tile, basically. Maybe the way we do get at pixel. We might have changed it. Definitely a while ago. Here we go. Tile map get cell at pixel. This is kind of the kind of thing I was thinking about. This function, you can retrieve the x-axis position of an individual tile map cell. This function can be used to set a given set of tile data to be empty, an empty tile. Yeah, this is what we want. We just do this. Is there a way to check if it's empty though? Yeah, get empty. This is what we do. Get empty and set empty. This is not exactly what I had in mind, but this might be even better actually. We use to check whether a given set of tile data is for an empty tile or not. You can give the tile data, which can be retrieved using the function tile map get, and the function will return true. Okay, so get ID. Yeah. Yeah, we want to do something like this, basically. Yeah, this is literally what we want to do. If it's just for removing fog of war, can't you just set at pixel with a 0 ID for all locations around the player? Then you don't have to worry about collision detection with tiles. Let me think about it. it's technically Codium C-Wage. I'm using a NeoVim plugin called NeoCodium, which claims to be a little bit of an improvement of the default Codium plugin. Which I'm just trying it out because it's free. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes I just turn it off because it's annoying. Yeah, we could do that. We could just have the player marker I'm just thinking about it though. It might be better to check to do it this way in terms of performance. Actually, check in if checking where tiles is really low overhead compared. It's not actually like a collision. Way less intensive than actually doing a real collision with an object. But the way you're describing, you're gonna always be writing the data to 0. And as soon as you add the code to check if it's empty, you're doing it the same way. Constantly drawing tiles isn't good. You're still doing if you're drawing a blank tile. You still delete, constantly just assign it to 0. It's minute either way, so it's sort of semantics. But I think I'm just gonna do it this way. Okay. So, what's the layer we're working with again? It's a fog of war layer. this is the cell. Got that annoying WS. WSL little graphical glitches there. Let's see what this gives us for now. We need to hide this. Nice. So far, so good. This isn't what I originally wanted, though. I think they've just changed it since the last time I did what I'm thinking about. Or maybe I'm just misremembering it. Let me actually check our old repo real quick. Just to see. Out of curiosity. You guys aren't going to be able to see this, but Oh, I think this is what I was thinking of. No. It's way it this is why I started on this road, because what I did was so simple. This is what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the wrong part of the code. It's all this bounding box variables. It's like a mega efficient way of doing sort of like, because this was a 2D side scroller that I was working on years ago, and it's like if you do it like this, it's basically the most efficient way you can actually do like level collision in Game Maker. It's just for it to be a tile map, and then you do like this. This is what it is. It's a tile map. You're literally just doing what we're looking at earlier, where it's just tile map get a pixel, but then you're just using these bounding box variables to actually get the sort of bottom and top positions, and that's it. That's what I was thinking of. It's really old Game Maker thing, but it looks like it's not deprecated or anything. So let's try it. Let's try yeah. Let's just try something like this, where I think yeah, we're still gonna want to do it by the nice. I like this variable. Definitely useful. I know, Devil Games. Stop, please. Fucking hell. It's not. This isn't supposed to be a venue for other people to stop by the chat and try and show off their own game maker knowledge. I'm just trying to have fun and share part of the process with people. I'm not offended. It's just annoying. Don't take it personally. So there's so many people in general, right? In the world of sort of talking about and even making content about game development online that haven't actually like finished and completed games, especially some like larger projects. There's even like quite big YouTube channels of people that do give a lot of good advice, but that it's just not part of their what am I doing? That's yeah, it's just there's some really good channels out there. That do make good videos. But they've still not actually, shipped games. Or they've still not done it, let's say, in a professional setting. And there's loads of things about game development insights that you get when you actually finish stuff. And one of the biggest things is, sort of learning how to just get shit done. And one of the biggest one of the biggest sort of ways to kind of get through projects is like you kind of need to have the way I kind of started to think about it over time is like there's a type of work that you do where you are sort of trying to do everything the most optimal way all the time and writing the most performant, the nicest, the tidiest code, the objective best way to do everything, quote unquote. But like a lot of the time what happens is you'll end up in a situation where you don't know how to do a thing, really. Or maybe you do know how to do a thing, but you sort of have analysis paralysis or something. And what the actual solution is to just kind of like just smash your head through it, the task, and just do whatever gets it done. And so the way I haven't thought of like a good way of summarizing these two things or describing it yet. But the way I like to think about it is like in a situation like this, where we're kind of doing like a first pass at everything. The level of caring about the exact methodology and how quote unquote like well any task is done is like a lot lower. You kind of just like you're almost treating it more like menial manual labor, right? Just like do the thing. Yes, you could sit and figure out a way to loop through this scenario here, for example, or you could just like copy and paste something and just get it done in a fraction of the time. It's just a one random example. And then the thing is, it's so common for you to come back and refactor and improve and optimize things over time anyway. It's not going to be the final way that you do it. And when it comes to making games and stuff, like it's so important that you get the game in a state that sort of like represents its sort of complete gameplay loop sooner rather than later, because like you sort of don't know how good it is until you've done that. And so a lot of the time you can think that it's a really good idea to start getting lost in the source over every last thing all the time and trying to convince yourself you're the next John Carmack by writing some fucking GML or whatever, which you would never do. But if all of that technical work is put into something that down the line is going to be caught or changed because once you see the game resemble a more complete product, you realize that it's not a good design, or it doesn't work, or you want it to do, something differently, then it's actually ends up being a waste of time. And so, yeah, you kind of need to split your approach and switch between more of like a Gatling gun, throwing whatever shit at the wall until it sticks approach of just getting things done in order to make real progress and finish projects. And then you need, like the way I like to do it is like then periodically just decide like this is a refactor day. And then from time to time, just do like large batches of refactoring and figure out if something actually needs optimizing or not. Because sometimes when you take that approach, you actually will realize like half the time that it actually doesn't. Like there's nothing gained. But then when you do, you can really get the nice code and the optimization done where it matters. If that makes sense. Yeah, I totally get that. It's better to have delivered code than nothing delivered. If you saw my code, you see it the same way. Nice. But yeah, there's in general, it's a good way to work with programming, anything really, right? Not just games. But there is working like that will help you get your game into a place where you can find out some more important things. Like there's just so many like especially if it's like you've never shipped a game before, it's almost like a guarantee the first thing you'll ship is shit. So it's kind of early on, just like trying to hammer out like lots and lots of games is really good. Game jams are actually really good for that, because there's something kind of that I'm not doing a good job at explaining. It's like fundamental about more game design than the actual technical work. That like games are more than a sum of their parts. You know what I mean? It's ideas almost never turn out how you originally thought, and you will get better at that over time about delivering what the idea in your head was, obviously. But even so, like, it's really easy when you're sort of new to making games to because it's such a monumental technical feat, right? So many of the early days are just spent on just figuring out how to physically do the thing, right? Just making any game at all, it just seems like almost like impossible when you first start out. And even if it doesn't seem impossible, which it should, but even if it doesn't, right, it's like it's a monumental task to just like get anything done at first, right? And so when you actually start to make progress and you really start to get somewhere, and you're like, oh, I kind of like have the, like, I know now that I can make games. You can almost become too fixated on the making of the game rather than the quality of the game as a game, not as a piece of software that works, that does what it's supposed to do. But just like thinking back to just like when you was just a gamer, to just like be honest with yourself. Like, if you was playing this and you have no idea what it was, like, is this good or not? And it's like really easy to get lost in the source and it just become all about making games for the sake of making games. And you just end up shipping crap, basically. And the reason why I say this is from experience. That's really good advice. I did lots of game jams that really helped me get in a feel for what works and what doesn't, plus help with judging scope. Yeah, judging scope is like a big part of it for sure. Yeah, the more you game jams can do, the better. But yeah, in terms of making crap, like, and understanding and being honest that you are actually making crap, and then making the decision like, right, I'm gonna like make something good. Like, you know, I've been making games now for like a decade, right? And most of that decade, the last just over, you know, 50%, let's say. Well, let's call it plus 50%. It's like I've barely actually put any time in. It's been something that like I've only done in dribs and drabs in my spare time until the last 12 months. So less than half then, really, I guess, of that time. It was only done in like dribs and drabs, but like for the last, you know, year to 18 months, you know, it's been like daily again. But then for the first several years of that time, it was like I was making a game independently. I was working it every day. And then for several years, I was like, had a senior position at a company where we were making a lot of games over the course of several years. And, you know, I was like the lead developer and designer on most of those games, and the games, and well, sole developer and designer on many of them. And then on a bunch of the other games the company was working on, I had sort of like an advisory role for newer developers, where, you know, I do sort of like technical code reviews and help fix bugs and stuff like that, and just help them get better and basically and optimize what they were working on. And during that time, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's probably about 10 games or something that was like released commercially. Some of them were parts of like big ad campaigns where they were you know, like games that you play on companies' websites just for fun, and so, you know, or like sometimes you would win like vouchers or something like that. And some of them were not, some of them were just commercial games that were just like out on the App Store or on Steam or whatever. And so that, plus even ignoring game jams, that's like a lot of games made to completion. And then if you include game jams, it's a few more, because I'd never really I never had a massive need for game jams, because our cycle was so crazy that we're always making we're always making and releasing games anyway. But I would still try and do game jams from time to time at the weekend and an evening sometimes, which was way too much. I'll definitely burnt myself out trying to do that. But the reason I'm saying this is because I feel like I'm ultimately like a realist, right? That's probably my two I think biggest assets as a person are just I don't quit, and I'm a realist. I don't feel like I'm that talented or good at anything. If I appear so, it's just from a combination of being realistic with how bad I am at something to know that I need to improve and just refusing to quit. And I don't think I've ever made a good game. Ever. I think they're all fucking terrible. You know, I was really happy with my Pirate Software Game Jam submission, and it's very telling that it was reviewed so well. Like that it got like top marks by the judges, because it was one of the only things that I was like happy with. But it's still a shitty game from like a real gamer's standpoint. As a Game Boy game, which it was a Game Boy game, maybe it's like, maybe could be less harsh about it. But I still feel like it's all shit. Yeah, when I talk about this stuff, about like what you learn from finishing things and realizing that like so much of what you make is going to be bad when you're learning, or not even just like when you're learning, like if you get trapped in this mode of like putting stuff out, which for me it was like it was like my job, right? I had to, someone was paying me to do it. If it was my choice, we would have made like one game in that time that was good instead of so many that was bad. And so yeah, like that's where I'm coming from anyway on that. You get those crazy cycles and crunches that spent a fair amount of time in the gambling industry, so pretty similar. Yeah. Yeah. It's a hard thing to be doing, especially solo. You'll always be your own worst critic. All any of us can do is keep pushing forwards, keep working at it, and hope, I suppose. Yeah, some truth to that for sure. I think though, I do agree with that, but it isn't how I feel about my situation though, and I wouldn't want to necessarily you know, project. But I just feel like I have stopped this several years long approach of just sort of keeping going, trying to get better, keep doing it, and kind of start to smell the roses a little bit, and kind of been like, okay, stop all of this. Which I literally did. There's like, several projects that just like abandoned in this scenario, and was like, it's time to do something good and just start to just forget about all of the momentum and just stop and think really hard about basically like, let's be realistic based on what you know about yourself, what you've learned over the last 10 years, and start to figure out honestly what does you making the best possible game that you could make look like through the lens of like knowing and understanding what your downfalls are as a developer and a designer, and what you're good at, and just being just like what you're actually capable of doing to a high standard. Not what, because I feel like there's such a long period of time that you spend that's not just what you're capable of to a high standard. It's more just like, what can you figure out, right? And there's like a long period of time of just like, you make tons of stuff that you don't know how to make because that's how you need to work to get better. And then you just figure it out as you go. Which is fine. It can totally be good still. But at a certain point, I just feel like asking yourself, like, what can you realistically do to a very high standard and sort of like know that you can deliver quality instead of just a thing. And also, like, what do you actually care about as well? Because there's so much stuff in the world of game development that I did that I didn't really care about, in terms of even games that I would make on my own, not being paid by somebody else. Being more honest with yourself rather than the dream. Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's still the dream, but it's like sort of like a realistic version. So like let's think of like, this is a good way of a good line of thinking, I think, what you just said there. So like, let's think of like being honest, being more honest with yourself rather than the dream. Let's think of the dream or as the dream game, right? This is like a thing, like the dream game that you could make. This is a good way to describe it, because this is almost exactly how I've arrived where I'm at now doing what I'm doing. Because I've never believed in a project more than this. Think of the dream game. Actually stop and think of the dream game. What do you think would be like your fucking genius game idea, right? No holds barred. Go like, what is it? You've probably already thought of it if you've been thinking about games for a long time. But maybe not. And that's okay too. But just think for a second about that crazy dream game, right? Now, almost certainly, you've probably figured out that you cannot make the dream game. Almost certainly. Lots of people I think we all have pie in the sky ideas about game development as solo developers because technology and games have just moved in such a crazy place that we can all think of things that would be a team of 1,000 people to make for AAA. You know what I mean? Right. So we've got this dream game idea, right? Now stop with the dream game. What version of this dream game can you realistically make to a high standard? Okay? So it's still a dream game, still a dream game idea. But just stop and think, like, is there a version of this that you could do? Right? And then start to peel that onion, right? Okay, I had this idea. I've thought of many, but the reality of them is beyond the scope of me as a solo dev. Yeah, exactly. So like, this is good. This is exactly what I was trying to explain, because this is literally how I've arrived at this game right here. So take that dream game idea and just look, you probably really, really want to make it, but you know you can't, right? You probably really want to. Your heart probably aches for it. It should do. If your heart doesn't ache for it and you're not gutted about the idea that you can't make it, then it's not the right one. It's not the idea. Move on. But yeah, distill it. Think of that idea and now just think, what version of this can I make to a high standard? Is it some insane, gigantic open world game that you wanted to be first person and super realistic graphics? But can you make the top down pixel art version of that, right, to a mega high standard? And this is just, I'm thinking within my wheelhouse here of like what I do, because all of my career has just been making pixel art games, right? With a few exceptions of just other 2D stuff and a little bit of 3D, but like not really, right? So just think, this is my wheelhouse. Maybe your wheelhouse is different, but like, start to think about the version of your dream game that you could actually do to a high standard, not the version of it that you could just do to whatever, you know, the closest thing to the idea is. Because if you just end up making some jank piece of shit 3D game, but you could make a really good 2D version of it, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And keep that, like I said, keep peeling that onion of sort of trying to figure out, trying to distill it. Like I said, that's a good term. And what happened to me throughout this process, because that is exactly what happened to me, is a light bulb went off where I realized, oh, this still excites me the exact same amount. In my head, it was framed as being this crazy, you know, 3D immersive experience, you know, with realistic graphics and all of the rest of it. But it being sort of like framed as like a shitty retro roguelike still excites me in the same way, because it's the fundamental design that's the fun bit that makes it good, that makes it interesting and unique and exciting to me. Yeah, and I think that arriving at that point for me has been a gigantic deal, and I now feel like this is like hopefully my magnum opus. And I don't know, because I don't like do game development for a living, I'm just a content creator now. I don't know what I'll do in game development once this project is done, if it doesn't work out. But this is like, I may just go back to it being just a hobby, or yeah, who knows? Maybe there'll be another dream game that comes along. But I just feel that when I was initially made redundant from the gaming company that I was working at, I kept that momentum up for quite a long time. I couldn't stop myself. I was going, just making stuff. And I just feel that if it wasn't for taking such a long break and honestly becoming burnt out and kind of depressed about game development and just being like, fuck it, this is like not it for me. If I hadn't been through this whole cycle and then sort of realized like what I need to do is just make like the dream game to the best of my ability, I think I'm now for the first time working on something that is good. It's genuinely going to be good. And I care more about it being good than I care about it being successful. Like if I can just make a good game, I'll be very proud of myself. If I can honestly hand on heart say, I think this is a good game, that's all I care about. If it's successful, I don't give a fuck. I'm absolutely broke living life as a content creator that happens to make games. And from the career I had, I could have earned a lot of money if I just like kept pursuing that. So it's not about that for me. And I just, yeah, I don't think I feel so much better. I'm loving game development more than I ever have now. And I feel like I'm also getting so much better at making games because of my mentality. And I don't think I don't think I would have arrived here if I just kept going and kept trying to just make stuff all the time and just get a better one little bit at a time. You know what I mean? I just don't think it would have happened. It required some moments of clarity and being honest with myself and just being like, just stop and figure something out. That's exactly the reason I went with GameMaker rather than any of the 3D engines. Code-wise, I'm good with either, but it would take a lifetime for my graphic skills to get to the level needed. So I've been massively focusing on pixel art over the last few years. That's really good to hear. Yeah, I'm kind of a similar situation, to be honest. It's great to see that passion for your project. Thank you. I am passionate about it. I'm losing passion for this script though. I almost feel like just rewriting this as a loop. Or just like, I don't know. Should we just fucking just keep doing it sloppy and just get it finished and go to bed? And we can refactor it another time. And what am I doing? I'm forgetting that I'm using Vim. It's getting late. I don't remember where we're even at. It's been a while. Yeah, we might as well just keep doing how it is. I'm just gonna comment a little bit just so I remember where we're at. No, we're not quite at there yet, Zinto. We can do it. It's like Devil said, we've nearly done it. Let's just finish it. This ain't supposed to be like a regular length stream, even though it's turning into one. But it's been really good though. It's good to talk about this stuff because I feel like it's good to get it to say this stuff out loud sometimes. Wait, no, we don't want to take from the bottom, do we? And also, I feel like hopefully it's useful for somebody. Next time, you just have to start late and call it a speed run. Load done in no time. True. Yeah, something as well about this sort of idea of just kind of writing to sloppy code to just get shit done. Another thing that I actually was going to say on that I forgot to mention is I think I did a misclick there, is that what was this gonna say? Oh yeah, sometimes actually all that can happen with trying to sort of do like always do like a better job basically is you just create more and more abstraction in your code. Oops. You can tell I'm definitely getting tired now. And just because it might like look like you've been smarter, it doesn't actually mean that it's better, right? Because if you functionize everything, if you make everything into you sort of dot operating into everything, yeah, sometimes it's just like needless abstraction. And even though if you go to school for programming at some point in your life, which I never have, well, I guess technically a little, but not properly. They may even say it's objectively the best thing to do, but actually, some forms of abstraction are less performant as well. Like a lot of the time, computers really like you to keep it simple. And so if you're really being serious about performance, you'd actually be really surprised sometimes like how simplistic the computer would sort of rather you be from a performance standpoint. Like if you're talking about functionizing some code so you don't have to write like 3 if statements or something, it could definitely be the case. Not always, it's complicated. It depends exactly what you're doing on. But it could totally be the case that it's actually the right decision to just write those 3 if statements instead of create that function. Now, look, if we're talking about doing something thousands of times or hundreds of times or whatever, I mean, look, there's a reason why all of this stuff exists, right? But sometimes you have to be realistic. Like, is how necessary is this thing, you know, this abstraction that I'm adding. Foggy, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. KF3R. I worked for a company years ago that went under because of that. Architect massively over-engineered the projects, which meant nothing could ever be delivered in a timely manner. It's fucking so annoying. I can say Kafer? Is that right? Did I get it right? Thanks for the follow, bud. Yeah, nice. Welcome to the chat, man. So many programs so like cringe at what we're doing right now, but I don't care because we're here to get things done and go to bed. It's gonna not be a perfect shape, is it? But that doesn't necessarily matter right now either. Trying to start programming, just watching How About Games. Oh, nice. Sorry for English and Brazilian. Your English is good, dude. I have a friend from Brazil I've not spoken to in a long time. And he's a maniac. He like speaks so many languages. Like 5, 6 languages or something insane like that. We used to play games together quite a bit. But he actually started his own food truck business and it's doing really well. And he's just crazy busy now. So I've not spoken to him in ages. Know what time it came in exactly. He's such a funny dude though. He actually used to stream a bit. Don't know if he still does, and it's the funniest thing. He just gets so drunk and be so silly. All right, dude. Where are we at? one more there, I guess. Oops. Tried to type way too fast there. Wait, how did I... Why did I... Oh, did I try and save? I was thinking, like, why was I holding shift there? One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. So it is that actually we should just not do the bottom one and the far right one if we want the shape we wanted originally, right? Wait, what? Did I delete the wrong ones? Oops. What am I doing here? Okay, whatever. We're getting still locked. Let's just carry on. We'll sort it out afterwards. Oops. Oh, hang on a minute. Did I maybe... Dude, what am I doing right now? I'm doing typos. Um, bruh. The more tired I get, the more my Vim skills definitely start to shit the bed. A nice square going now. It's pretty late, to be fair. True. But we have accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. It's just not, we've just not tidied it up and made it prettier. But to be honest, like, it'll probably be tweaked anyway, so I don't know, like, how many squares we should really more we should reveal before we stop, but we could add a little test. AI is so funny. Like I do a typo, mouse underscore X, semicolon A, and it tries to autocomplete doing mouse underscore Y, semicolon B. Like, no, it's a typo, idiot. Wait. Oh yeah, it's this shit because of the been ages since I've done that event. I just have to click on it, don't you, for that one. It's like that. But anyway, this is all we wanted to accomplish. It's just a little test, so it works. I wonder... I suppose it doesn't matter if we stick to land or not. I wonder how long it will take us to actually find a corruption zone. Probably too long. But maybe let's, instead of do this as a test, which is kind of a good test because it's going to be like slow and HAL based, but maybe we let me just close this. Yeah, let's actually maybe just do some keyboard controls or something like that instead. Arrows are just VK left and right, right? Pretty sure. I would never normally use arrows, but for testing purposes, it makes more sense. Yep. Let's test this real quick. because something... Check. Oh, it's no speech marks. I can't remember what this is. Oh. It's because of the fucking Vim shit. I do this all of the time now where I'm writing colons instead of semicolons and semicolons instead of colons because of the Vimming. Right, this is going to be a fun test to do before we call it. Gonna do Jancast controls. I was fixating too much on having it be kind of like prettier before we sign off, but that's not really the point. Well, it's just to implement this and then just go to sleep. We got distracted, which is the world of game development. Sometimes it's just too fun. You just start like, ooh, well, we're gonna make this look nice, bro. I'm not trying to make it look nice, I'm trying to make it work right now. Okay. So I want to know how long it's going to take us to find I think I might, first of all, I might zoom out. How long is it going to take us to find a corruption zone? So you will not be able to move this easily around on the world map. It's going to be hard. But I'm just curious about the rarity, the current rarity of corruption zones. Actually, you know what's kind of interesting is that since they implemented beaches in the Prestige generation, you can actually legitimately follow the coast to get the shape of your continent, which is actually a sort of side effect that I didn't really consider. As long as you make a boat, though, you'll be able to make them travel over water anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Definitely works though. Feels good. I mean, obviously it's jank because we're not done, but works perfectly. Exactly how we wanted it. So there's 1 million tiles, and 100 of those tiles are corruption zones, and it is completely random. I mean, imagine if it like just ends up like one of these little tiles. could be. Oh, we found one. Nice. So... Oh. Actually pretty close to where we started. That's a different kind of problem. It's actually not a problem. It would kind of be interesting when you think about it. Like, you probably would find this super early. If this is your village where you start. And you're going out exploring points of interest. You know, it's just these bodies of water. And then this. But all that's going to happen is you won't be prepared. If you can make the tools and farm the animals and the agriculture to clear the corruption zone, you can do it when you want, but it's probably going to take a while. So that's fine. All right. I think we're going to leave it at that. We'll tidy this up another time. Getting a little late. But the goal was to, you know, implement a new feature in a single stream, and we did. We got Fog of War. It's not a nice, satisfying shape. But it doesn't have to be yet. Because that shape is probably going to change a million times. But it works. All right. Make Fog of War reveal as you explore. Add that. Make that. Resolves. That 124. Make Fog of War reveal as you explore. Boom. All right, guys. There we go. Let's add in one featuring a little stream before we go to bed. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me. That was really fun. And we got something done. It's not like a ton of progress, but this isn't a day's work. I've just done a day's work. This is a few hours before I go to sleep to make sure I continue progressing every day a little bit. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm not sure at what point I'm going to be able to prioritize some game dev content. But I hope to set some time aside to actually start posting YouTube videos and stuff like that. But anyway, if you're interested in game development, if you want to talk more in detail about game development, maybe share some progress on your own games, or if you just want to stay in touch about everything to do with my game Earthen Heart, I did create an official Earthen Heart Discord. I hope to have the Steam wishlist page up later on in the month. But for now, if you want to stay in touch with everything to do with my game development stuff, you can join the Earthen Heart Discord. So do exclamation Discord, make sure you do that. Also, it's worth saying, another reason to join the Earthen Heart Discord, if you haven't already, because there's only a couple of people in there. I only started it recently. at some point during the development cycle, there is going to be a Google form posted in the Discord for the game, in the Earth and Heart Discord, which you can join me doing exclamation Discord in the chat. At some point in the development cycle, we're going to be posting a Google form in that Discord for people that want to sign up to play test the game. So if you're just curious, like you want the idea of being able to play an early build of the game way before it comes out, if you want to try and help me out and just provide me with some feedback, or if you're just interested in maybe getting some experience as a tester, then join the Discord, because you're gonna have to be in there in order to sign up to be a tester. And the plan is basically to, we're gonna start out. It's a while off yet that it will happen, but when we're at that stage where we've got builds where we want playtested, how it's going to work is the Google form is going to ask you a bunch of questions that I want to know about you and your experience with video games. It's not going to be a case of needing development experience or anything to be a playtester. It's just going to be all kinds of different questionnaire style questions. And how it's going to start is I'm going to begin by adding people one at once based on their answers on the form. And then we're going to sort of start to widen that net. And eventually we'll do sort of small waves where we'll be adding groups of people on a semi-regular basis that'll be able to play test the game. So yeah, join the Earth and Heart Discord for that. So yeah, exclamation Discord. And yeah, it's a new Discord, but it is going to be a place where we can talk about game development stuff specifically eventually. So yeah, I haven't set up a ton of channels and stuff yet, but feel free to post whatever you want and talk about whatever you want in general for now. I'm also open to suggestions for stuff you want added in there, but I want it to be a place where people can come for advice and share things and talk to other developers, as well as just to stay up to date on the game. Eventually, I may start doing sort of like text posts in there, just letting you guys know every time, like but almost every time I change something or add something to the game. But I've not decided on that yet, so it's brand new. But anyway, thanks for joining the Discord. You just joined Tiny Devil Games. Thanks, bud. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get some sleep. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.